All right, good morning, everybody. 11:45 on a Friday, so pretty soon it'll be good afternoon, everybody. But we're starting as we normally do at 11:45, so we can pre-trip and roll by noon, which is our start time. So we're just about ready to go. All we got to do is, like I said, go out there and do the pre-trip, and then we'll roll. 2 red barns to Fogelsville today, then a van from Fogelsville up to Hazleton, back down to Fogelsville, and then one over to Reading to finish out the night. So we're gonna have a long one today. It's probably gonna be close to 11 hours. The van adds some time into the mix that normally isn't there when we do 4 straight waters. Plus, Reading is a little further than going back to Fogelsville for that 4th one. So we're gonna have a longer day today. We're gonna go well past sunset and into the darkness, but we're gonna get rolling here soon. We'll talk to you along the way. All right, so rolling out to get her done. And already there might be a change of plans. That one going to Reading after the van load, our 4th and last load of the night, may not happen. I guess the plant's not running right now, but they may be running later. But I gotta check with dispatch before I go and run that load over there. Now, whether or not I take one down to Fogelsville, or if I call it a night after the van, I guess that remains to be seen. Because sometimes what happens is, if one plant goes down for one reason or another, and we start taking loads of water into another plant, then we kind of mess things up, and then we overload them, and then drivers are sitting and waiting, and it can cause other problems that shouldn't necessarily happen. So sometimes what happens, if one plant goes down, then we'll just lose a load for that night. And quite honestly, again, like I said, it's trucking. These things happen. I just usually roll with the punches, and if I lose a load, I lose a load. You know, you make it up another day. It just happens. You know, trucking is not an absolute, and sometimes I forget that myself when I think I'm going to have a short day, and it ends up being a long day because something went sideways. But trucking is not an absolute. There's always going to be changes, even in the most routine days. As we found out the last couple videos, I had itinerary changes midstream. So, you know, nothing is set in stone in this business. So we'll have to see. We might run that load over. They might get the plan up and running, or they might not. So that's probably about 8 hours from now, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, we're going to head up there to the Red Barn, grab this first load down to Fogelsville, and see what's going on down there. If we can get right on and unload, or if we have to sit and wait our turn down there. You never know. Plus, we'll also have to see if somebody's up there loading at the Red Barn location. So you never know. I mean, everything could run snap, 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 just like clockwork, and then it may not. So anyway, outside of that, right now, partly cloudy, partly sunny, muted sun, showers and possibly strong thunderstorms later on this afternoon and evening. I don't know if any of them are going to touch severe levels or not, but we could see some heavy rain, some lightning, or we could not. But there is the threat of showers and thunderstorms later today, so may get a little wet depending on timing. Well, my night just got longer because there is somebody ahead of me here, and he just started. He only had 500 gallon in the tank when I went in to check on it and see how far along he was. So we're going to be here a half hour for him and then 20 minutes for me. So going to push us back about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, and make the day longer. So hopefully we don't have that Reading one tonight. So anyway, we'll see what happens, and I'll talk to you more when we're loading. All right, so we're finally on and loading, but if you look over my shoulder, the skies are starting to get a little bit threatening. There is rain not too far to the west of us, I think out by Pottsville and northwest of Pottsville, kind of sliding east-southeast. So we may see some rain showers, or maybe even a small thunderstorm out of that line that looked like it was forming on radar. So Today's going to be a threatening kind of day. The breeze picking up right now, so rain must be getting closer. But yeah, it has that threatening look there over my shoulder, and that's the direction it's coming from. But we're up and loading now. The other guy left, so about 20 minutes for us, and then we'll be rolling. All right, loaded and heading out, and I think I'm gonna sneeze here. I'm gonna try not to, but I think it's coming. I can feel the tickle in my nose. But yeah, look at that sky. It's getting more and more threatening. I believe that by the time we get back up here to load our second one, we'll either be in the rain or drive through the rain, but it is moving in. It seems like a lot of it is a little more north of where we are, so I don't know how that's gonna affect us downstream, but yeah, it looks pretty threatening up that way, and the radar showed some pretty deep reds mixed in with the greens and yellows and oranges, so there might be some heavy stuff in there. I don't know if anything gonna be severe, but the reds are indicating some pretty heavy downpours, so we'll see what we get. But we're heading on out and heading on down. All right, we're here making a left to go inside the plant, and we'll see what we got in here. If we've got a lineup of trucks, or if we got an empty pad to work with. A lineup of trucks here, but they're freight haulers, either waiting for their appointment time or taking their 10-hour break. All right, nobody's parked off to the side, so that's a good sign. Now let's see what we got once we get in here. I can't see the loading docks, the loading pads yet, unloading pads yet. All right, 2 trucks on and 2 open pads. But it looks like there's a cone in front of one of them, so one of them must be broke down right now. So we're gonna do the flip here. Yep, one of them broke down. So we're gonna do the flip here. Got lots of room to do it today. Because I need lots of room to do it with. Then we'll go on between these 2 here. Since the other one's broke down, we've only got one choice. I don't know if both of them are pumping or if it's one at a time. We will soon find out. We are in. All right, so we are not in a good situation right now. The guy over my shoulder, my left shoulder there, he's gonna be leaving now, but it was 45 minutes after the driver before him left, before he got a light that he was able to unload. And so he just finished unloading now, and the lights didn't come back on. So we're gonna be here for a while. So we may have to split the 2 water loads up with the van. That when I empty this one out, I go do the van and then bring that back and then go do another water load. And then I got to call and check and see about Reading if we're going to go there or not, because apparently they're not running and they may not run the rest of the weekend, so we may not go there. All right, so just got word we're not even going to worry about the Reading load tonight because we're sitting here so long, and we're going to flip the schedule a little here. As soon as I get a chance to unload this load, I'm going to switch to the van and take that van shuttle up and then come back and do the second load of water here. It was supposed to originally be 2 loads and then the van, but we're going to stick the van in between the 2 loads just because of how long it's taken to get unloaded on this first one. So all right, change of plans again. We are not empty yet, but we are going to pull off the pad and go drop this and grab our van load and do that, and then come back and deliver this when we get back, and I'll explain to you as best I can why we're going to do it this way. All right, so we're hooked up to the van, and we already walked around it and pre-tripped it and checked it out. They didn't put a seal on it, so we got to get a seal out at the guard check. So I checked, make sure it was loaded. It's loaded. The reason that I'm going to do the van first now and come back and deliver that load of water later is because there's multiple companies that deliver water in here. And one of the guys that was parked next to me, and there's a pecking order. When it's one at a time, you go by the way you came into the plant. Well, the guy to my left was there before me, and he was unloading. He was just about done, so I walked out to see how things were going. And the guy to my right was already unloading, and I'm like, dude, you can't unload. That's, you know, I was next. It goes by the way you come into the plant. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, but by the time he went to turn off his pump, the pump had shut off automatically, and then it shut off the guy on the other side of me too. So what he did was he blew the system. They overfilled the silos and blew the system and shut the whole thing down. So now it's going to take a few hours for them to get that started again. So rather than sit down here and wait, this van's loaded and ready to go. So we're going to take the load up, do the drop and swap, come back down here, hook back up to that loaded tank that I was supposed to deliver at about 1 o'clock. And deliver it when I get back here. and with all this time wasted, it's probably going to be the only 2 loads of the day for me. I might not have time to do the other water load that I was supposed to bring down here. So we'll see what happens, but that's the deal, and we're going to get going here in a minute, and storms are starting to pop all around the area, so we're going to have a wet ride up. Well, I am a drowned rat. Because while I was in getting my paperwork, this let loose. And by the time I ran back, put the seal on the truck, and got back in here, put the seal on the trailer, got back in, I'm soaked, paperwork soaked. I told you some heavy rain was coming, and I was just hoping we'd get out of here before it let loose, and didn't quite make it. Oh my God, I should put the other camera on, but hell, it is what it is. We'll just run this one for now. But it is downpouring, and I don't know if you can see it in the trees, but it got real windy. When I opened the door, the rainwater come in and got the seat wet. What a day this is. Wow. I might have to put this on defroster now. Oh my God. Because now I'm wet, so the inside's going to be damp and the outside's going to be damp and windows are going to fog up. And it is 3:52, so this is the time where I take the easy way around and not the quick way around. And I'm not in any hurry anyway with this kind of weather. We're going to take it nice and easy, but man, oh man. I could see it forming before I even did the drop and hook. The sky was getting kind of dark around us, and I just had a feeling, but I was hoping we would make it in time. But leaves coming out of the trees. I didn't expect it to be a windy storm. But, yeah, this is pretty nice, man. I need the fast wipers and hope the wind didn't bring any big branches down out of these trees, because I can't see down the road. Holy moly. But at least this didn't hit while I was trying to raise the landing gear and hook up the airlines and pre-trip and all that stuff. At least I got a brief moment between the initial burst of rain and when this hit to get hooked up to the trailer. But I still didn't quite make it. Now I wonder how far up we're going to go before we get out of this. This is nasty. There's no hail, thank God, but as far as rain goes, it's about as hard as it can rain. I'll dry out by the time I get to Hazleton, but still. And I didn't bring a jacket. Usually when I know it's going to rain, I'll bring a jacket. It kind of soaks up the water for the brief moment that I'm out of the truck. And most of me is pretty dry, but I forgot to bring it today. So here we are. I just hope it kind of pushes through and it isn't doing this up in Hazleton. Come on, dude. Light's green. Let's go. I knew it wasn't a long light, and we got it, but if he wouldn't have got going any sooner, we would have got stuck for another light cycle. Oh, there's a school bus up here yet, too. I forgot about him. He drops off some preschoolers up here. Either that or it's a kindergarten bus that gets dropped off here by the preschool, but either way, it is a bus stop at this time. Man. This is a blinding rain. I think we're gonna get in that left lane. The visibility is so bad and the traffic that comes off I-78, I stay out of the conflict zone. I know usually when I'm loaded I like to stay in that right lane, but since I can't see nothing and they probably can't see either, we're gonna ride the left lane up and stay out of the conflict zone. I can't even see the traffic light up here, what color it is. Alright, it's red. Look at the wind blowing the rain across the road. A nasty little storm. I guess we'll just let the camera roll for a while and let you watch it. Look at those sheets of rain blowing across the intersection. I'm going to turn these on low for a moment until we start driving again. Although it seems like it's just now starting to taper just a little bit. I gotta call our other driver and from our company and tell him to let me know when he finally gets a light and when he finally gets out of there, because like I told you, that other driver, and he doesn't work for us, he works for a different company, but evidently he didn't know. He's a new driver. I only ever seen him here once before, so evidently he didn't know the procedure. So he thought he could start his pump, and when it's one at a time, first of all, you don't dare start another pump up, because then what happened, and it shuts the whole system down, and I don't know what they got to do inside to get it started again, but it can take hours. So it's going to be a mess. So, but then our company driver is going to be the next to pump after when I was supposed to pump. So I got to give him a call and tell him to let me know when he gets out of there and make sure I made the right decision. But I'm sure I did, because I probably would have sat down there for a couple hours and his van load would have been late getting up to Hazleton. As it is now, it'll be there even a little early. So no matter what, it's probably the right call. I mean, it was made between me and my dispatcher to drop that loaded one and grab this and take it up and then deliver the loaded one when I get back. So, but yeah, now it seems like it's finally subsiding. But yeah, that was quite the cloud burst there. There wasn't a lot of thunder. I did hear some thunder. There wasn't a lot of thunder, but boy, what a rainer, and even the wind. Alright, onward and upward, you know the routine, up through Tamaqua and up into Hazleton. So we'll talk to you elsewhere along the way, and then we'll talk to you up there during or after we do the drop and swap. Alright, so we are north of Tillman Street, north of Applewood Light, and look at this, completely dry. It did not rain a drop up here. So for the out-and-out deluge that we got down there in Fogelsville, it did not rain a drop up here. Crazy stuff. I I guess it rained a little up here. Roads are wet again. But from about Clausville there north of Fogelsville all the way up through Tamaqua to hometown, it was dry as a bone. So that area did not get a storm or any kind of rain. I run the Mile Hill here just south of McAdoo, climbing up 309 here before we get on 81. And you see where the sun's hitting it, drying out a little bit, but it's also pretty wet in other areas. So they got a decent little shot. I don't know if they got the kind of stuff we got down there in Fogelsville. That was crazy. Alright, so what was supposed to be a drop and hook turned into a live unload. We're backed into the dock. We were supposed to put it in the dock anyway, but then I was going to go find my empty and collect that and then get out of here. But we got to do this drop and hook because they didn't unload the empty from yesterday. So got to take a little longer here than what I thought. And it's turning into quite a day between what went on down at the Fogelsville plant and now what's going on up here. Boy, oh boy, like I said, you never know when you start your day what you're going to encounter. It doesn't always go as planned, and today is not going as planned. All right, well, it is 7:30 p.m. It took 2.5 hours to do this live unload. Drop and hook usually takes about a half an hour, so we are like super way behind schedule now. We will only have enough time really to go down there and drop this van and hook up to that tank, spin it around like I said, push it back onto the pad, and hopefully the lights are on and everything is back to normal down there and we'll be able to unload it. But it's like I said, 7:30 now. It's going to take us about an hour, 10 hour, 15 minutes to get down there. So we're probably going to get down there about 8:30, 8:45, and we'll see how good I am at my estimating. And until we drop and hook all that and get that one unloaded, we aren't going to get out of there till 10 o'clock. And I won't have enough time to do another load at that point. Oh, man. What a day. I think I said it in the beginning that trucking can be very full of surprises, and the day you think you're going to have is not going to always be the day you end up having, and this is definitely one of them. So, but we are rolling out of here. We still got some daylight yet. I don't think we're going to run into any more storms. I looked at radar and all that stuff that was down Allentown way pushed south and east, and you can see we got some beautiful sunshine up here and nearly clear skies. So I think we're done with the rain. It just happened to hit at, I can't say the wrong time because I didn't get completely like drenched, soaked, but I got soaked just in that short 60-foot run from throwing the seal on my trailer to getting up in this truck. I was pretty darn wet, and but if I would have had to do like the whole drop and hook process in that downpour, I would have been drenched from head to toe. Even my underwear would have been wet. So we kind of, even though we got wet in that rain, lucked out because it could have been worse. So you got to try and look for the positives sometimes in a sea of negativity, and that was one of them. So but I actually thought we'd have several rounds of storms tonight, but it just seems like it was just that one, and up here they really didn't even get much at all. It was all basically from Allentown on south. So there was a little bit of rain coming up the hill and getting onto the freeway, but up here it's pretty dry too. So they didn't get much rain, and Tamaqua didn't get any rain, and Allentown got all of it, and whatever they got points south and east of there. And this light usually doesn't take this long. There we go. I was going to say, make sure that everybody stops before I go. So anyway, we're rolling on back. We'll see what time we get back down there, see how good of an estimator I am. All right, rolling through Tamaqua. Just gave the wife a couple toots of the horn. Let's see if she heard me or calls me back. Sometimes she'll call me back when I do that. Depends if she... Yeah, here we go. Oh no, that's my neighbor. All right, talk to you in a minute. So I don't know where the wife was. She usually sits out front on the porch with the neighbor, but I don't know where she was. But or with her neighbor lady friend. But the neighbor on the other side of me, he was out in his backyard, and he happened, and when I blew the horn, he looked up and saw me go by. So he called me up and told me to keep the noise down. So yeah, not who I expected. I just got done telling you. Usually my wife would call me when I go through and blow the horn, and that's who I thought it was, but it was the neighbor. So anyway, we're keeping on, heading down the bumpy part of 309 here, and 7:55 already. So like I said, it'll be 8:30 at least until we get down there, and then we got to do the check-in process. Don't know how long that takes. Depends on how many other trucks are in there. So we'll see how it goes. Here comes a big bump. Oh man. They really need to mill and pave this road. It's unreal. But, alright, we'll talk to you later. Alright, so we are dropped and swapped and back on the pad. I am unloading as we speak. After I backed on the pad and hooked up and checked back in again for the second time, I was BSing with the other drivers that were here because I still had to wait because it's still one at a time. So I'm finally unloading now. So we got about 20 minutes to unload here, and then we're going to head back up, top this thing off. We don't have enough time to do another load. And especially not with the lights still being out, to come down here and sit for another hour on top of it. So we don't have time for another load. So after this, we're going to call it quits, head on up there, get fuel, do our post-trip, close everything out for the week, and head on home. All right, as my buddy Grebig would say, and he's got his own YouTube channel, check it out. It's time to make like a sheep herder and get the flock out of here. We are done. It is 9:30, and it takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes to make a turn. So I really don't have enough time to go up there, get a load, and come back, because I probably have to sit for an hour again waiting to get unloaded, because like I told you, the lights are still out. So that would make it a 3.5 hour turn, and I start at 12 noon, so actually 11:45 is when I start my clock, because I do my pre-trip. So I would go over hours. So we do not have time, as I figured, to do that last load. So one load of water, one van load, and we are done for the day. I think my camera's a little crooked there, but yeah, it wasn't very productive, but it really wasn't very productive for anybody, because everybody had the same thing. They had to sit and wait. So I just had more of a wait when I went up, took the van up there and had the live unload. But anyway, it is time to go home. We'll talk to you quick up there when we fuel, and we'll talk to you again back at the yard. All right, we're just about back. Like I said, we were going to get some diesel fuel and top this thing off for the night shift guy. So here we are, and they're still actually open yet for about 2 or 3 minutes. They're probably going to shut the lights off on those gas pumps. We can get fuel whenever we want. Just use the card here at the pump. Usually go inside and use the card inside, but we'll use the pump. We don't need that much anyway. I only used up a quarter, but like I said, I like to top it off for the next guy so he can run on full tanks. So, all right. We are here. Just got to write the mileage down so I don't forget. And fuel her up. All right, well, we're back. We're parked. 2 away from the creek this time, because the bottom is full and there's already one along the creek. But we're parked. All we got to do now is a quick walk around post-trip. We did all the paperwork already. So But boy, what a day we had, from waiting to get loaded up at the Red Barn location to the 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour wait down at the plant, and then screw up with the other company driver that had pushed his start button when he shouldn't have and made things worse, and then taking the van up to Hazelton and then having to live unload that because they hadn't unloaded the one that was dropped yesterday, to get back to the plant, and then still having to wait again because it was still one at a time, although at least the lights were coming on that time. So, but we're done, we're heading home. I'm gonna try and have a good weekend, put this thing up on the tube by Monday, and then get back at it, bring the cameras out Monday and get you another video. So we'll talk to you later.